Trade chart strategies for NFP week. It boils down to getting the timing, time of week, time of day. You see the weekly calendar here, Monday, 10 a.m., Tuesday, 10 a.m. We've got a double barrel on Wednesday, 8:15, 10 a.m., Thursday, 30, and then the crescendo is Friday, non-farm payroll, NFP. So that's number one. Whether you trade these times at the time, after the time, or before the time, clearly trade chart strategies for NFP boil down to these 5 times, and I will be outlining everything I do on trading for the week, incorporating these times. Before we enter December, it's always good to have context of where we came from. So the next few minutes, I'm going to give you price action from last Friday and how I was reading price action on the S&P 500 E-micros 2 hours before the New York Open. 4 candlesticks on the weekly micro S&P 500 futures, and you can see the largest candle by far is that election candle. And you can see here the next 2 weeks, smaller successive bodies of candles. And here we are, the last week, the last day, Friday, and it's only a half day after Thanksgiving, and it's the smallest candle body. You can see I've drawn out 2 lines, 6085 and change and 6095 and change. So we're going to go to smaller time frame, but this is telling me low expectations. The bottom line on the weekly time frame candles is it's high resistance liquidity conditions. So if I'm going to make any money today, it's going to be on a 1 trade basis, and that's it, because the higher time frame's telling me consolidation and, of course, high resistance liquidity conditions, and I need low resistance liquidity. If anything, this is showing me relative equal highs. We could go with a propensity upward, not downward. I am going to look at the 15-minute. 15-minute. Here we are, roughly less than 2 hours before the New York Open, and what I'm showing here is in the 15-minute action. So here's the lines I talked about, 95 and change and 85 and change. And basically you see here, we've got relative equal highs right up here, and that's coming in at 6102. Jagged edges here, and that came from Thursday Globex for the Asia session, and then London comes in and the high. So let's get on the actual time frames. Here's London right here with the black. So 2 to 5 a.m. You can see the low got into this new week open gap. That's 1111 on previous videos. I keep pointing that out. Where is the candlesticks on the 15-minute? If we know we're in high resistance consolidation, where are we? We're hanging out. This is another tell on the 15-minute on the end dog, new day open gap. That is November 29th, Friday's new day open gap. And that's where the bulk of all the price action is. So that's a major tell here. This blue is important because the settlement of the RTH the day before Thanksgiving, the 27th, is way down here at 6081. So if you take where we've been on the highs and you go down here on where we closed on Wednesday, consequent encroachment comes in at 6091. So I am watching that. So London high again comes in about 6101 and change, and London low kill zone is just breaching the middle of that 1111 new week open gap. So not a lot here to look at. So that means no over leveraging, no over trading, just maybe a couple of micros, proof of concept, good tape reading, 1 trade only, done for the day. And I will trim and trade to get best location, because you're not going to hit a bullseye every time. But right now we've got these relative equal highs. I could see this thing going up. We're going to look at what happens on the 8:30, 9:30, and then the silver bullet 10 to 11. I'll come back later and we'll see how price action is going. That's the wrap from Friday, and obviously we know what happened. New all-time highs were happened, and remember Friday was half day. We closed early afternoon, and price attacked these relative equal highs that I pointed out, was unwilling to go lower on those technical levels. So what I want to do now is chart out expectations going forward and where I'm looking at with price action on a Monday on non-farm payroll week. So let's get to the charts. Here we are. So I want to show this chart first without any lipstick on it. So back here on Monday, what we had was a push up and we got to a high of 6017. And then right before Thanksgiving on Tuesday, what we did was we did a high of 6113. Then we go down here on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, and we come down on a low of 6068 right on this line, sell side liquidity. Okay. And then we go into Wednesday and we're out of Wednesday right here and we just are consolidating. But what do you have on this line here? Relative equal lows. And where is that line? Let's just call it 6087 relative equal lows. Sell side liquidity. This is where it's vacationing right here. But what did we do on Friday? Again, Thursday we were off. Friday, what we do as soon as we have this, again, 1 hour chart, this 9 o'clock bar, we just zoom up into the RTH. It was an abbreviated session, new all-time high record, 6127.25. And then we settle on a 6115. So that will be 1/2 of the new week open gap for December 12th. Okay. So now let's put the lipstick on this chart. So let's just talk about displacement, retracement, because I'm not a bear for 2024 at this point. Obviously, can't do that. We've just got literally days left in the year. What I want to do is just look for mild retracements, not bearish, but what would this look like for a mild retracement? And so you can see here the 3 drive push up, 1, 2, 3. And then the 86s are well down here, 87. And where is that? That's below, number one, the 1111 new week open gap that we've spent so much time talking about. What did we talk about previously? What was happening in Globex on Friday? It was just consolidation. So compression, consolidation, high resistance, and then boom, we hit that high. So that high hits over here and we come back down. This is the new week open gap, this black line. So middle of this 1 hour fair value gap, bottom line, we've got to go 6016.25. I'm looking for the first 24 to 48 hours. And then if we can get and hold below it, 6106, there's a good chance we go for the end dog of Friday. So I'm keeping the end dog, even though it is a daily open gap for Friday. It also coincides with this November 27th fair value gap. That's the first present 1 minute fair value gap on the 27th. And why the 27th? Because it's the last full day before Thanksgiving. Friday doesn't count as a full day. And it was also T+1 settlement for month end for the institution. So these are confluent levels. Okay. Confluence is not happenstance. It's not something for me that's a coincidence. Confluence is synchronicity, and I'm going to pay attention to that. This is our highway to sell side liquidity that we've got to go through. And the question is, do we go through it Monday, Tuesday? Could we? Can we? That 1111 looms big. And if we can get into that, then yeah, that sell side liquidity at 6087 and change or 6088, that can happen. So that's what I'm looking for at the beginning, early part of the week. And I just wanted to point that out here. What do we have below that? We have a lot. Okay. And I'm not going to try to get positioned for anything big prior to non-farm payroll Friday, but there is a new week open gap because how we opened last week, this was Monday open, new week open gap, and that's significant. That's 6066.25 by 6057.75. This is a new week open gap right here. So I think this is the big play right here. Do we have a chance in the new week, first week of December, to go new week open gap where we're going to open way up here and can we go all the way back down here to the new week open gap? If we can't, the very minimum before non-farm payroll, I'm looking for this 1111. So that's a wrap on this part. Thank you so much. I want to give everybody an aloha and hope you survived on November and looking forward to a December payout. As I said, the goal here is getting a December payout and having a chart strategy. And this is part of the deal here, chart strategies for December, especially for non-farm payroll. And I am going to be active Monday if we get any kind of displacement on the lower part of this chart. Thank you. Aloha. Take care. Bye.